Eric Marquis is giving us Project 2, Let's Get Personal, in a speech titled Reflections on a Good Life. In Eric's speech today, he will offer some reflections on life, family, and the passing of those closest to us. His speech will be 6 to 8 minutes long. Please help me welcome Eric Marquis to the lectern.
My father was a big Washington Nationals fan, and my sister and I were joking last weekend when I was up there that if they hadn't won the World Series, he might still be alive. Because he swore on his 90th birthday in what was a TV interview that showed on local news up there that he was 90 and he thought that the Nats ought to get it together and win the World Series because he wasn't getting any younger. That'll give you an idea of his kind of dry sense of humor, which is hopefully, and in fact I know is something I inherited from him. Brock mentioned it in the evaluation a couple of weeks ago. And those of you who have been here for the 2 years plus that I've been here have often heard me reference, no matter what the speech is, my father in various ways. He once said to me after I got out of George Washington University and went to work at a friend's restaurant, that George Washington University was the most expensive damn bartending academy in North America. That was typical of my dad. He didn't get mad at you. He made you laugh instead and would give you a kernel of truth in amongst the little jabs and nudges that he would give. 2 weeks before Christmas, I was up there. I'd gone up there a little bit early to spend a little bit of extra time with my pop. He got a phone call from his doctor while I was there. My father had not been feeling well and had gone to his doctor. He'd been diagnosed with B-cell lymphoma. And it was advanced, it was aggressive. Because of his age, there was nothing that could be done. Surgery, radiation, etc. were not an option. So he knew right then after that phone call that that was it. There was nothing to be done, and the doctor was very honest with him and said, you have weeks, if not months to live. 2 weeks later, he was in the hospital. My sister called me. It was right before Christmas. I went up there. And I got up there on a Monday. My sister was in the hospital. I went in and said, listen, you go home, get some rest, I'll stay here. That evening, he passed away. But I've been thinking a lot about his life, and despite my demeanor right now, it's really been kind of a happy thing. We've thought a lot about his life, and his life was really extraordinary. He came from a small town in Southern California. Neither one of his parents graduated from high school and did odd jobs their whole life. When my dad was 17, his parents signed him into the Air Force. He was assigned over to England, Nettishaw, England, where he flew as a tail gunner in B-17s and 24s at the age of 17 over Europe. His flight crew chief, which he was fond of telling me was the old guy on the plane, the crew chief was 21. They flew dozens of missions over Europe. And I don't know about anybody else in the room, but when I was 17, I was cutting class, I was taking beer out of the fridge, but that's me. Certainly not my father. He went to college as a journalism major on the GI Bill, the first person in his family to graduate from college. He went on to become a newspaperman in small towns all over Southern California. He was a Californian through and through. He worked on the Anaheim Daily News, the Del Norte Triplicate, all these daily papers that used to exist all over America and are no longer there. He eventually moved us all to Spokane, Washington, where he was the city editor of the Spokesman Review. He was hoping one day to be the editor-in-chief until the owner of the newspaper's son graduated from college and came to Spokane, and my father saw the writing on the wall and said, well, I've got 4 kids, what am I going to do? He applied to the Foreign Service and was accepted to do their written and oral exams, which he passed. And then spent the next 30 years as a Foreign Service diplomat, living all over the world in India, Thailand, Pakistan, Indonesia, Vancouver, British Columbia. And his last assignment, he was the press officer for Admiral Hayes, the head of SINCPAC in Honolulu, with whom he traveled all over the world. I spent a little bit of time last week starting the process of going through things. In my father's townhouse, there's a loft upstairs, and he turned that into his office years and years ago. And all the walls are covered with things. And I started looking at them. I'd been up in the loft. I hadn't been up there in years, but I'd been up there several times. Here are some of the things that are on the wall up in that loft. His papers, his piece of paper signed by Richard Nixon, and then Secretary of State William Rogers welcoming my dad into the diplomatic corps of the Foreign Service. There's a picture of him with the President of India, V.V. Giri. There's a picture of him with Wally Schirra, the astronaut, Apollo astronaut, and several other people. There were framed medals from his civilian service in Vietnam. There was a letter from the Norwegian ambassador expressing thanks that my father had helped to rescue a member of the embassy, Norwegian embassy, from a flood zone in India while he was there. And several other pictures of him with people. My favorite is the picture that he loved of him with the great conductor Zubin Mehta. My father is standing opposite Zubin Mehta going like this. And it looks like he's telling Zubin how to conduct the Los Angeles Symphony. We all thought that was interesting. It wasn't unusual to come home. My father's job was to meet and to escort around Americans who had visited in India, to come home and find him sitting on the couch talking to Arthur C. Clarke or someone else. And he lived a really great life. I'm not sad. I'm glad that he was my father, and I'm glad that he had the life that he did. Thank you.